Alright guys, so as you know, there's been a lot of hype and chatter among the community with the new wind-themed Duelist pack, Synchro Strike, or Duelist a Whirlwind, I think is what it's called in the OCG. We've gotten some cards from it, they're neat, but nothing has really been completely over the top. And then this morning they announced Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon. So this kind of had people buzzing. It's an iconic variant of, Crystal Wing / Clearwing, obviously. And just really, really cool artwork in general. So when I first saw this, I was pretty pumped. I'm a huge fan of decks like Speedroids, which are wind, and I'm hoping we'll get some significant boost by this whole pack in some way or another. Or they could give us Terra Top back, but I don't think that's going to happen. So let's take a look at the card and see if it's any good. It's Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon Wind, level 10, 1 Tuner Synchro, and 1 non-tuner Clearwing monster, which means you have to use either Clearwing Fast Dragon or Clearwing Synchro Dragon, both of which are level 7 Synchros. Once per turn, when an opponent's monster effect activates, quick effect, you can activate this effect. This card gains attack equal to that opponent's monster's original attack until the end of this turn, and if it does, this card is unaffected by that monster's effects until the end of this turn. So, it's neat. Certainly, it doesn't require it to be on the field. So, if Nibiru in hand activates, for example, you can chain this. It would gain attack equal to Nibiru, and then it would be unaffected by Nibiru. So, Nibiru would still tribute everything else, I believe, based on the way that would resolve, but this would still stay on the field, so for what that's worth. And then once per turn, when a spell trap or monster effect is activated, when a spell trap or effect is activated, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So just general, solid Omni-Negate that doesn't hit effects, but it still can counter spells or traps. And if this Synchro Summon card is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, you can add 1 wind monster from your deck to your hand. That's just generic searching for an entire attribute. That's definitely pretty good. Yeah, and 3,000 attack, 2,500 defense. Now, one thing that really stands out is that it does not appear to be any hard once per turn restrictions on this effects at all. Meaning, if you can somehow make 2, which isn't going to be the easiest thing to do all of the time, but it's definitely not, out of the realm of possibility in certain decks, you can get multiple negates as well as multiple searches. So that's a neat little thing. Art-wise, it's really cool looking. It definitely feels like Speedroids are one of the decks that'll be able to best maximize the potential this card has. I don't know whether or not it's enough to give Speedroids a boost to become competitive. I think we'll have to wait and see what other support is announced, if there is other support announced. However, this is a really solid level 10. It's not as hard to make as you think, specifically because Martial Metal Marcher is a wind monster, so it's very easy to ladder up. Speedroids can make that pretty easily, as well as some other wind synchro-themed decks, so there are options. And realistically speaking, it's definitely worth the payoff, but I can see where some people might look at it and think it's a little underwhelming just because that first effect is unique in the way it's worded, in that it becomes unaffected by the monster effect, but it doesn't negate it. So it's still, even if it is protected, it's still going to allow your opponent to at least partially resolve plays or do things that are impactful depending on what else is on your board. So I'm pretty excited about it. Definitely happy to see more love for Crystal Wing and Clearwing, and I'm pretty hopeful that it will lead to some additional support as they get announced from this set that will make it more viable or even easier to summon. Perhaps they'll give another Tuner Synchro or something that has more compatibility with some of those decks. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon is going to be a good option in the next Crystal Wing, if you will? Or is it not as good as people might initially think just based on reading the effect and kind of looking at it on the surface? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here at Loveshack.